Okay, so welcome everybody to today's presentation. Just a couple of housekeeping items as we get going. If you just wanted to put yourselves on mute as the presentation's going on, and then feel free, you can unmute yourself to ask any questions that you might have. And if you feel more comfortable wanting to use a text chat, you can also put your questions in there and I could get those questions off to Gabriela. And just one quick thing I just want to mention just before we go, and I'll put the link in the chat. We do have our International Women's Day event coming up on March 8th, which is a hybrid event. So it is going to be in North Bay. But also you'll have access to it online if you cannot travel there. So I'll put the information in the link and feel free, you can sign up for that and we'd love to see you there. So without any further ado, I will introduce Gabriela Casineanu, from Introverts Academy. And also she works alongside with PARO here too as well. So we're lucky to have you and we appreciate you coming in and talking about this topic. So I will hand it over to you.
Thank you so much, Lori, and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining our presentation. I'll start sharing my screen and to complement what Lori said, if you can use a chat section when you have comments and questions, so I go through the presentation, you might give me ideas while I'm going through the slides. Maybe I want to give one example that's more relevant to what you're asking than another example that I had in mind. So feel free to use a chat. If you want to raise a hand, we'll see how much time we have. I planned the Q&A session at the end, but I encourage you, if you have questions, ask them along the way so you don't forget about them, because usually they come and go. So with that being said, I'll share the screen right now and we'll start the presentation about introvert impact, harnessing the quiet strengths for business success. If you don't mind sharing, how many of you are introverts? If you are introverts or extroverts, you're just curious about the topic, would be nice to know who is in the audience. You can put in the chat. So nice. Someone says I'm an ambivert. Thanks for. Great. Thank you so much. Because you said about the word ambivert, I will touch a little bit on that part. I didn't capture in this one because I had another presentation in French where I went much more details about introversion and extroversion, how they have complementary strengths, totally complementary, and why I see what I think about ambiversion. So let's get started, and I'll include that in the presentation. So a few words about myself. I'm an introvert. Forgot to change the word to English. I'm an introvert myself. I have my coaching business since 2006, since I changed careers from engineering to coaching. And as you can see here, I did a lot of things, because once I opened the door to directions that I was really interested in, I was really passionate about, a lot of things came along. And that's how I built my entrepreneurial journey. And I share in this presentation, not only based on my entrepreneurial journey, on the things that I know from my MBA in business and system coaching, but also from the work I do with introverted entrepreneurs, because I notice, like introverted job seekers, they need different strategies that extroverts use to be more successful. That being said, I have a book that I'm writing right now about the topic of this presentation, so I'll include much more details in that book than I can cover today in 1 hour. What I'll talk about today, the entrepreneurial journey for introverts, a little bit about introverts and extroverts, the why and the how. I'm pretty sure you know about the why, but I'll touch on a different perspective you might not be aware of, especially related to introversion. The qualities of female entrepreneurs to succeed in business. How many hats do you wear? I have 2 slides full of information about the innate personality traits of introverts, and I like to call them strengths, because when you call them strengths, you start using them more often and you tap into your natural way of being. So you feel more confident, you get better results when you're using them as strengths instead of just trying to implement strategies that you see everywhere that might be more targeted to extroverts. I've talked about the business wheel and how it affects you as an introvert, self-management versus business management, because it's very important, especially for introverts, to pay attention to how you self-manage yourself as a human being while you are on the entrepreneurial journey. I'll show you the full business roadmap that presents some of the elements that I cover up to that point and one more. The big picture that I consider. Then I talk about a few pitfalls for introversion, introverted entrepreneurs, because I notice they don't pay much attention to those and they are very important. The new book will be called, let me go back, this one, Introvert Entrepreneur, How to Leverage Your Strengths to Boost Your Business, to boost your business growth. So I have a link here. If you want to sign up, you'll get notified when the book is published. It's introvertsacademy.org/IEBizBook. I'll put the link later. So two more things. Festina Lente, it's working very well as a strategy for introverts. And that questions and responses, I forgot again to translate from French. Sorry. I took some of the slides from my presentation in French and it just went. Yeah, I will go more in details and a lot of images and big strategies because I'm a visual person. As an introvert, and as you see, I'll talk about this. Introverts like nonverbal communication, and most of us are visuals. So what I found about the book Introverted Entrepreneurs, it had a lot of text. And as someone, especially coming from an engineering background, that I like things to be more structured, flowcharts, images. It kind of impregnated my brain in a different way than if I just read a book. So that's the main difference that will be between my book and her book, and probably some of the concepts that I will cover that I touch on them in this presentation are not in that book, because we have a different background anyway. So if you want to write in the chat, on a scale from 1 to 10, how comfortable are you? How do you feel right now being an introverted or ambivert entrepreneur? If you want to write that down, it will be great. It gives me an idea where you are. And I also come back to this question at the end to see if there is any difference in the way you feel about being an introverted entrepreneur. So let's move on. If you want, some of you, okay, some said 7. 7-3, okay. So if you want to share about the challenges that you have in the chat, or if you want to raise a hand and just briefly let me know, because I might be able to talk about those getting higher as I learn more about myself with age. So now maybe a 7. Yeah, thank you. That's true. More we learn about ourselves, our personality traits, we are born with them. I consider them as strengths. More we using them, more comfortable we become. So if you want to write about the challenges, I keep an eye on the chat section. And let's talk about the entrepreneurial journey. That's kind of a journey of any entrepreneur, ups and downs, and ideally it goes up. What I consider for introverted entrepreneurs, if they know how to avoid the pitfalls, they can be as successful as anyone else. Because what I found about the entrepreneurial journey, and I tell people to pay more attention to, actually an entrepreneurial journey, it's a self-discovery and self-growth journey. Because when you start a business, you don't know all the things that you need to do to build a business. So you learn a lot, you learn new skills, new ways of thinking, you discover more about yourself, that you have skills that you didn't use in the past, you were not even aware of them. So if you look at it as a self-discovery and self-growth journey, it might make you feel more at ease and more curious to see what this entrepreneurial journey can help you with, instead of just feeling pressed that you have to deliver, you have to build a business, and it's stressful, it's in a very competitive environment. So it might shift your perspective. Also, because introverts and extroverts are on a spectrum, let's say left extroverts, from what I see in my image, right introverts, we are born at a certain point on this spectrum. But what we do in time, we learn new skills. So what we do, we go towards the center, either introverts or extroverts. For example, for a long time, I didn't like public speaking. Like right now, I really enjoy it because I tap into a strength of mine, which I will talk later, that I discover, and also in the fact that I talk about the topics that are interesting to me, that I want to pass on to other people. So I get that energy from inside, so I can do public speaking right now. So I grew into public speaking along the way, along the journey. It's not that someone said you should be good at public speaking if you want to build a business. It was a journey, self-growth journey. So talking about ambivert, if you look like that yin and yang, the ambivert, it's toward the middle. But the question is, where do you take your energy from? Let's say after an event, a very busy event, do you prefer to stay longer and talk to more people, or do you want to withdraw and take your time to relax a little bit, maybe by yourself or go in nature for a walk? So that's one of the characteristics that you helps you understand, even if you are toward the middle and you consider yourself an ambivert, maybe you are an ambivert because you have some innate strengths from one side or another, but you build on new skills that make you be an ambivert. So it makes me feel, let me check. I let you think about that, and I check the challenge, feeling the need to be more extroverted for social and business. That's what I'm talking about. There are strategies that you can use as an introvert. So you don't need to push yourself to feel that need that you need to be more extroverted. There are several strategies that you can use to build your business, to build a network, to be social without doing what extroverts do. Because what I learned along the way, and statistics scientists are okay with that, agree with that, is that when you tap more into your own innate strengths, you can do more with less. But when you tap into the skills that you learn, it will consume your energy. For example, don't ask me how much time I need to recharge after a workshop like this or an in-person event. It's draining my energy. If I go to a, let's say, a conference and I have a booth, almost a week, I need to recharge my batteries. I can't focus. I don't have much energy. So my business is kind of on hold for almost a week until I recharge. But if I do other things, if I'm using other strategies that are aligned with my natural preferences and with my strengths, I don't get that kind of lack of energy and focus, so I can keep continuing to work on my business. It makes me feel uneasy about the success if I'm not showing up consistently online for marketing. We're going to talk about that too. So briefly about introversion and extroversion, I said we are born this way. Our pathways in the brain are different. For extroverts, from a stimuli to action, there is a much short brain path. For extroverts, it's much longer because for extroverts, it has to go through the long-term memories, through thinking what it is right now, what it could be, what I can do. So it takes time until we respond to a stimuli. So that's something related to how our brains are wired. But more skills we learn, more patterns pathways we build in the brain, we still use those that are natural to us, and that those consume less energy than if we're using the one that we force ourselves into being more extroverted, talking more, doing those things that extroverts do. So the main difference between extroversion and introversion is how you recharge and where you direct your energy. For example, extroverts direct their energy toward outside the world. They like to be outside, to talk to people, to see what's going on. They are rewarded by things that are outside them, like money and fame and success. And so this is their characteristics. They want to be in the center of attention. Introverts, on the other side, they naturally are inclined to focus inside. They are great observers of the outside world. And they are also very good at focusing inside what's happening. Where can I take this situation? They are thinking, they are paying attention to what's happening in the body, to their emotions, to what's going on. So that's much more that happens inside them that it makes them sometimes overwhelmed, especially if you go to a networking event. That's why it's draining your energy, because there are so many external stimuli, and you have your own inner processing that overwhelms you. So it cannot stay too long, or if you stay, you go out as a legume. So there is a lot going on in with introverts. That's why I found that for introverts, one of the most important things is to manage your energy more than your time and how you are motivated, because introverts are motivated from inside by meaningful causes they care about. They dedicate their work. Like I'm very passionate about Introverts Academy, about helping the world understand that in Canada, for example, 48% we are introverts. But the environment, the professional environment, it's usually targeted our appreciated extroverted behavior, and the business world as well. Extroverts like competition, so no wonder why they are very good in going outside when they build a business. They like to compete, they like to confront others. Introverts like love collaboration. That's what it's coming natural to us. So you start with using our strengths, we still can get ahead, but there are different strategies that we can use as introverts than extroverts. So, do you know what these people have in common? The first one is Jen Harper. She's a Canadian successful businesswoman. She's an indigenous woman. Ariana Huffington, she's gone for Thrive Global and a few other things. Oprah, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Mahatma Gandhi. Do you know what they have in common? Anyone? Yes, they're all introverts. And there are many more. I didn't want to clutter the slide. So the idea is all of them are introverts. All of them became famous and are successful, not because they are extroverts or they force themselves to be extroverts, but because they found a meaningful cause to dedicate themselves, or they were inspired to create a certain type of change in the world. And they dedicate to that cause, and the rest is coming along the way. That's a main characteristic of introverts who are successful. So the question is, you know, the why is why you started a business. If you just started a business because you want money, as an introvert, it might not be enough, because money is an external thing, and it might not be motivational enough. It might not motivate you enough when you are on the journey and you encounter all those challenges that a normal entrepreneurial journey brings up on your path. So why, if you start a business just to have money, might not be enough for an introvert. But if you start a business to make a certain change in the world, to help the world understand that this kind of product is not good, and you want to bring a more, let's say, a sustainable, healthy product, or help people in a certain way, you want to make a certain impact, that will be a much more powerful why for you and will help you along the way to build a business. So there is a difference between why you want to start a business and how you build a business. A lot of people who start a business, a lot of introvert entrepreneurs as well, they start a business and they start focusing on how can I build this business? And they kind of have that dream at the beginning, like Jen, her dream to start a business was coming from actually a vision she had of a indigenous teen who has lipstick, and she was very happy. That's why she started Cherokee Beauty, to create products, natural products that indigenous people would love to wear, and they feel confident and happy by focusing on themselves as well to gain some self-confidence. So she had a meaningful why to start a business, and that's what helped her motivated. So if you start a business, keep the why in mind. Don't just start it and put it aside and then focus on what should I do today, next, tomorrow? What are the strategies that I can use, implement? There are so many things to do. 24 hours in a day is not enough. That why, as I will show you later, it will help you along the way. So the question for you is, what do you know about very successful people, how much of the time they work on the business, they have the business, they are focusing on the why, and how much on how, in percentage? What do you think? Anyone? If, yeah, 50-50 said Kylie. It seems that it's 100% on why. Because this is what's happening. When you know your why, at this moment you ask, okay, if I want to get there, what could be the next step? First steps that I can take from here. And you take the step and you reconnect again with a why. And you ask yourself, what could be the next step? And you take that one and reconnect again. So the path will unfold in time. You don't need to know from the beginning everything you need to do until you reach out the business level that you want. You need to build that path along the way. That's why very successful people, they trust this process. They look at they keep in mind the why all the time. And when they don't know what to do, they just, or they in doubt, they zoom out. They zoom out, they distance themselves from business, they reconnect with the why they started the business. And from them, they let themselves inspire what could be the next step. Because there are so many strategies out there that not all of them are good for you. It might work for the person who is putting that strategy out and it's sharing it on internet. It's the best strategy in the world. Are you sure it's good for you? Maybe it's good for them. Maybe it's good for extroverts. Is it good for you as an introvert? Is it good for your business? So it's good to learn about all things, but your intuition and this process plays a huge role into how you build your business. And it also it's helping you with self-confidence because you don't have to know everything from the beginning. You just need to know what can I do to go to the next step and the next. So these are qualities of female entrepreneurs that succeed in business. How many of these do you have? Integrity and trust, honesty and constant learning, resilience and perseverance, emotional intelligence and connection with your intuition, adaptability and informed action, effective communication, empathy, support networks. Out of them, which one do you think is missing for you? If you want to put in the chat, I'll take a look. In my opinion, as an introvert, you have most of them, if not all. It's just about which strategy you use to tap into that quality. For example, supportive networks. You might not have a supportive network when you start your journey from being an entrepreneur or an employee or unemployed into starting the journey. Not many people will support you, but that doesn't mean that you cannot find supportive networks to be part of, to help each other, to help you stay motivated on your path, entrepreneurial path. Stay connected with other entrepreneurs, like the PARO Circles program. That's what they do. They help entrepreneurs this way. I think empathy, integrity and trust, honesty, constant learning are introvert strengths. Resilience and perseverance. The fact you're here today, it shows that. Oh, trust and confidence is lacking. We're gonna talk about, in my opinion, if you have integrity and if you act with integrity every time, you will build trust. Others will trust you. I'm talking about that trust. If you trust yourself, yes, it's related with self-confidence. But more you know about yourself, what are your characteristics, what are your strengths, and more you're using them, more you'll increase your self-confidence. So they go hand in hand. Resilience, I talked about. Emotional intelligence, the fact that we are so good observers of outside and internal world, it shows that we have a good emotional intelligence. Same with empathy. If we really allow ourselves to be ourselves, to reconnect with who we are, we get in touch with our intuition and we get ideas. For example, this morning I had a meditation. I have a meditation practice every morning. in this morning meditation, I got an idea that I need to approach a certain organization for a certain project. I didn't have that idea before, but it's very aligned with my why. So intuition is very useful, and introverts can tap into that resource. Extroverts, for them, is not so easy to tap into their intuition because they are so focused on the outside world, and intuition doesn't give you much signs, or if it gives you signs in the outside world, they don't pay attention to those. So there are a lot of things that you can do as an introvert. Adaptability, effective communication. If you start using your strengths, you will be a very effective communicator, but you need to use the right strategies for that. And I'll touch a little bit on it. So as you see, you have a lot of qualities as an introvert to be successful. The question is how much you tap into them. So talking about the entrepreneurial journey, as an introverted entrepreneur, you have several hats that you wear. You're the entrepreneur, you have that idea, you want to start a business, you're working on the business. That's the one who keeps like the strategic direction for the business. You're also, French again, you're also the director of operations. Especially if you're a one-person business, you're doing everything. You have to overlook everything that's happening in the business. You'll be the one, what I call technicians, the one who delivers, maybe creates the products or delivers a service. So you're the one who is in direct contact with the client. You also need to manage the finances. You also do the marketing. There are a lot of hats that you are wearing, and it is overwhelming wearing all this stuff. But look into what strengths you have and which strengths can help you with the different hats. And if you cannot do everything, try to see how you can delegate to someone else. Even if you're doing them for a while, at least you know what you ask to someone else to do. But it's useful to be aware of this kind of high-level big picture of how many hats you wear, because I noticed so many women entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs in general drawing into the operation side, operation and technician, working on all the stuff 24 hours a day, and they complain, I don't have time. You don't have time because there are many things you need to consider, and you can do things more efficiently. So let's briefly talk about introvert strengths, introvert traits that are strengths. And again, I want to highlight that you need to focus on your level of energy throughout the day. Yes, you need to manage your time, and you can manage your time through some strategies and systems that you put in place. You also need to pay attention how motivated you are, because when you are more motivated, you are more productive. When you have more energy, you are more productive. When you manage better your time, for example, you work at certain blocks of time when you know that as an individual, you're more productive, or you're more creative if you need to go into the creative side of the business. So you use those for those specific activities. You can manage your business in much better way than if you just think about all the specific tasks that you need to do in 24 hours. So let me go briefly through this. Introverts focus on what could be. I guess that's why you started the business, because you had in your mind something that could be. And most introverts who start and pursuing their direction, they are trailblazers, like like Gandhi. I have a hard time to pronounce it. Like Gandhi, he is an introvert, and he was able to lead a revolution, a quiet revolution that led to the independence of India from Great Britain. And people like Elon Musk, who thinks much bigger than what he has right now on his plate. He's building rockets to go to other planets, to help the humanity to be in other places if something happens with Mother Earth, or thinking about sustainability. And so there are a lot of introverts who think ahead. And the problem is not many people will understand you. So you're kind of alone in this journey, and you have to trust your intuition. When you get that idea and you're excited about that idea, trust it, come back to it often, so it motivates you to stay on the path. Oh, resilience and perseverance, especially pertaining to burnout. Yes, we can talk about that. Burnout, it's also related. I went through a burnout actually, and burnout can come from doing things that you are not natural to you, doing them too much. Is that what happened to me? I was doing workshops every day in 2016, and I was talking to clients. So every day I was doing a lot of extroverted type of work, and my body didn't accept it. My metabolism went all over, and I started getting all kinds of symptoms. I couldn't talk for 4 months. So it really stopped me. So when you're doing something, those health conditions that are showing up, actually, I consider my burnout a blessing in disguise, because when I couldn't speak, I asked myself, what can I do the rest of my life? Because I still want to help people. And the next thought was this kind of energetic thought: write a book. That's how I wrote my first book. And it became an Amazon bestseller in 7 countries, and it's still selling well. So that's how I became a writer. And I realized that by writing a book, actually, and this is a strategy that I want to share with you, by doing something that other people can consume when you're not there, it's helping you leverage your time and energy. So I can help more people through a book than if I try to find those people and bring them into a room or having one-on-one conversation. I don't have time and energy as an introvert to do that. So when you start looking into these kind of different strategies that you can implement in your business, you might not need to work 24 hours a day. 100%, I'm not in the position to hire people for these tasks just yet start. So I totally agree with you. When you start a business, you don't have money. But keep in mind that not everything you can do is money. I have a few things later in the presentation, but I present them when the things are coming out right now in the chat. One of the things that you do is to do partnerships. Leverage what other people do. For example, if I do this workshop for PARO promoted this workshop to all its clients and it posted on social media. So my marketing went through just one workshop. I put it together. I'm here for 1 hour to present the workshop, but the word goes out about what I do with many other people. So I leverage my time and energy by collaborating with PARO. So we can have collaborations like this. We can have partnerships. For example, if you are in the, let's say, wedding business, and if you are creating flower arrangements, you can look into creating partnerships with other people who have the same target market. For example, those who are selling clothes for weddings, they have the same type of clients. So if you exchange, let's say, your business cards, or maybe you have a banner on each other website, you can get visibility and clients just by building those collaborations and partnerships. So as an introvert, it's a strategy that helps you leverage your time and energy much better than if you go and network with all the people that you think you can reach out directly who could be your clients. So introverts are very good at dealing with in-depth topics, with complex topics. That's why they are very good at solving complex problems. And what a business is about, building a business, it's a very complex situation, or kind of a chain of situation. You are equipped as an introvert to deal with those problems. I talked about collaboration. It helps you when you look at how you can use collaboration. For example, instead of going to a networking event where there are many people and you don't feel at ease because you're all overwhelmed, and keep in mind what image you project when you are not at ease. You won't project the best image of yourself. So chances are people won't like to talk too much to you after because they didn't get a good first impression. But if you tap into one-on-one, we are very good at one-on-one discussions. So if you can reach out to someone and have one-on-one conversation, and you approach that conversation, not you're the client, I'm the business owner, you need to buy from me. From the collaboration, how can you work together and have these discussions so both of us win, a win-win situation? You can build genuine relationships. You won't be as pushy as many extroverts do in sales. I have the best product, you need to buy from me. And usually when they get that approach, they run away. And they might not even know a lot of extroverts and businesses that are using marketing strategies, pushy marketing strategies, they are leaving money on the table because they are pushing away introverts. Even if I'm interested in the product, if I'm not approached in a way that I feel okay, I won't buy that product. And I did some research on that, and many other introverts are the same. So tap into your ability, natural ability to build genuine relationships. Introverts think before they act, so they are strategic thinkers. So that's why I was saying, when in doubt, zoom out. When you don't know what to do, take a distance. Work on the business, not in your business. So when you notice that you're too much working on the business, zoom out, take a distance, and think strategically. What I've done so far, what worked well, what didn't, what can I adjust, what can I do differently? So use your strategic thinkers because it's a very important, extroverts don't have that characteristics. So use it to your advantage. Take enough time to recharge. After any interaction, for example, today I have several meetings, I have this workshop, I have another event in the evening, and the coaching session. I have many events today where I need to speak. So my energy will go down. But what I'll do in between those, I will either dance because it's helping me gain some energy, or take 20 meditation, 20 minutes meditation. I need things to relax, recharge, so I can go into the next and next and next. And I will be more productive when I'm doing this way. Instead of doing nothing about these things and arrive at the end of the day with a very, very low energy that will have a negative impact on my next days, which are also very full in activities, in the things that I need to do. So introverts, take time to recharge by yourself, alone, in nature, by connecting with what you really love. If there's something, if you like, say, painting, if you take a break, just do that. If you like writing, whatever you know about yourself, make a list of things that you love to do, and do those things to reconnect with yourself, because that's where you get that energy to continue to working on the business, on taking the actions that you want to do. Introverts like to talk about meaningful things. That's why we don't like small talk. So when you reach out to someone and we talk about something that you find important, meaningful, you help them connect with deeper topics, and you connect with them at a deeper level than if you just, hi, how are you doing? How was your day up to now? Or what's the weather? You stay at the surface. If you talk like this with an introvert, they might not engage. So be yourself. If you notice it's a person who is an introvert, usually introverts have a softer voice. They are more calm. Even there are a lot of things going on inside them. You can recognize introverts that way and go to them, talk to them. Maybe they don't have the courage to talk to you, but you can reach out. They will feel happy, and you'll have a great conversation because both of you like to talk about meaningful topics. And when you talk with extroverts, do it anyway, because you help them understand that there are deeper things and more important things that they can talk about than just the weather. You make them a service. And long term, we kind of educate the extroverts as well. We are very good and we like one-on-one discussions. That's why you can use for networking. For example, yesterday I was at an event, in-person event. I connected right away with people either via email or LinkedIn, and I take it to the next level into one-on-one discussions. I was not active at the networking event networking part of that event, but I still connected with not many people, just a few of them, and then I follow up. And I will start building that kind of deep, genuine relationships that I'm interested in, because when you're going that way, you're focusing on the long-term effect for your business, not only on, I need a business now. And if the person doesn't feel well, if they buy from you, you lose that person and all the effort you did to get that person as a client. So use one-on-one for networking, partnerships, to find potential clients. So it's in your advantage. Extroverts, they go to networking events, they feel great, they will talk a lot, they will make a great impression. That's their strengths. Use yours. Introverts like to show, not tell. Extroverts like to tell, not show. let me tell you how great is my product. It's the best product in the world. Introverts are like, may I show you my product? May I give you so we can try to see how it is? Do you have any questions? So we like to show instead of telling how good we are, how good the product or the business is. That's why what I like to do, for example, I do these workshops, webinars, when I show people what I have to offer. Or I go to trade shows, not necessarily to network with people there, which might happen, but I might buy a booth and let people come to my booth, because if they're interested in the marketing promotional materials that I have, they will stop. And we have a very nice conversation instead of me talking with anyone who might not be interested in. So I'm kind of more selective with who I'm talking to, because I have this amount of energy to spend and I don't want to spend in those things that might not work or might ask too much effort from my side. The introverts are internally motivated. That's why you need to know your why. You need to reconnect with your why all the time. We love introverts. We love nonverbal communication, writing, online, internet, using metaphor, visuals. That's why I put visuals in my presentations. If I would explain that image in words, without the image, the words are coming and going away. But when you have an image, you know that saying that an image has the power of 1,000 words. That's the power that we have as introverts. So use your strengths. Extroverts love verbal communication. So let them use that strengths. Let us use our strengths. That's why I'm giving you strategies that you can use, writing emails, using LinkedIn, be on online forums, use metaphors, images. So, and you are more memorable as well, because it has a kind of trail, how do you call it, ripple effect. If I post from time to time on LinkedIn, even if I don't post every day, people might find my postings even a few days after. So you kind of leave a trail there. You create an image, you create your brand, which you might be surprised. A lot of introverts don't like to be in the public. They just want to build their business in the background. But as a business owner, you need to build your brand. You don't need to do it in the way extroverts are doing. There are other ways you can do it, and I hope I have time to go to that place. So use nonverbal communication. We are not spontaneous speakers, so we need to prepare. If we are at a situation when we are spontaneous, we need to let people know how we function, because actually we need a time between when we ask a question to reflect on our answer, to put it together, to gather the information that we know that might be better to include in these answers. So let them know that's why. It's not that we're dumb people. We don't answer right away like extroverts. A lot of things are going on in our head. Educate people about how you are. But the fact that we are this way, it creates more thoughtful conversations. That's why people love to talk with us, because we are bringing this to the discussion. Also, I put there what I call a business wheel, and I talk in another slide about it. I will continue with the traits and the strengths. We regulate our feelings. So if someone tells us something and we're excited, we might not show it. It might be perceived as a negative thing. An extrovert who doesn't see you excited, they might think, oh, what's happening? You're not excited by my what I'm doing, or actually it's helping us in negotiations. And in business, we need to be great negotiators in everything we're doing, with partners, with clients, with the team collaborators. So it's very good to use in business. If we are interrupted, we need a lot of time to get to the same level of focus that we had before. So it decreases our productivity. So what you can do if you want to manage that, block your time, an uninterrupted time in your calendar, and try to create the environment that allows you to not be interrupted during the blocks of time. This is how we can be very productive, and then you can do something else. We work better individually, and we are more creative this way, because we can reconnect with ourselves, with our intuition. We do our creative work, social media, content, all the things that we need to do creatively, and even working correlated with the previous one. If you are working individually, we are not interrupted often by others, so it's helping us. So pay attention where you work, in what kind of environment you work, try to change the environment you're in, who is surrounding you. So prepare yourself for that kind of work. Introverts pay attention to warning signs. So to give you an example, let's say in a board meeting, you get the introverts who love to talk, so you'll get a lot of introverts talking. But if it's a strategic meeting, you want to get the introverts involved. Because if you just allow, as a leader, if you just allow the extroverts to talk, you just get kind of hear like what's going on now and what could be the short-term results, and they're excited about it. But introverts are more excited about having a long-term impact, a long-term results. So when you are in a situation, pay attention to the warning signs. In that situation, for example, in the board meeting, you can pay attention. Yes, if we do this right now, if all agree with this, what is the impact in the future? Does it take you where we go? Are we aligned with our direction? Or it takes you somewhere else just because we do this now and we get kind of a quick how do you call it? Success. So that's what helps you avoid pitfalls, and you can create better strategies because you have the skill. We need peace and quiet to concentrate. I talked about that for the environment. We prefer to be free from peer pressure. That's why you see a lot of introverts willing to go into entrepreneurship, and a lot of introverts who kind of don't continue the entrepreneurial journey because they start feeling that pressure, that those yellow arrows are the inputs from the outside world, external to us. It could be competition, could be people that surround us who don't agree with our path. It happened to me. Direct family member, very close family members didn't agree with me to change careers from engineering to coaching and starting my entrepreneurial path. So for a long time, I walked alone. But I stayed focused on that. Why? Because it was something that deep inside, I knew that I'm on the right path. So if you want to stay on the path, you need to manage that pressure. See, introverts see and feel more people behavior. We are very good observers of external worlds, other people behaviors and ours. So when you're doing those one-on-one conversations, they are really helping you to see if the people in a webinar is not so easy, but when you are talking to someone in a one-on-one conversation, you say something, you can see the reaction of the person. So you can adjust your presentation of what you're saying based on that because you pay attention to it. Introverts don't do that. That's why you can create a better connection with the person because you have these skills. Introverts observe first, they get involved later because they have this capacity to reflect, to introspect, so they can make better decisions. They can connect with the intuition and they can get curious, what could happen if I'm doing this? Taking the time to do that, for example, introverts say 75% percentage attend to the task, and 25% if they look at, am I doing it good? What impact it has in the future? Should I change something? Should I do something else? So you have this capacity. Extroverts, they go 90-95% into the task. So you have these capacities that help you manage those heads I was talking about earlier, because you have this capacity to pay attention to more than just you're working on right now, if you're open to it. And the introverts are also silent leaders. So the question is, if you want to get to a certain level, at one point or another, you will become a leader. You will make an impact. The question is, what's your definition of a leader? Because when I started coaching, I have a very bad definition of what is a boss, a leader. And I didn't want to be a leader because of that negative image I associated with leadership. And then I realized, because I make an impact, I'm already leading people, but not using the extroverted strategies, which are like, do this, it's better, come with me, we're going in the right direction. I'm motivating people based on the cause. yesterday I was talking to someone sharing that I'm building Introverts Academy. And after that, she said, I really appreciate what you do. As an introvert, I really love the work you do. So we have an impact. It's a totally different type of leadership that you expect, that kind of the main media show what a leader is. So try to redefine your definition of a leader, because by starting and growing your business, you're already a leader and you foster change. So the business wheel I was talking about, besides those hats, when you go into operations, let's say if I take a snapshot of where my business is right now, I'm doing marketing and sales. I'm focusing on the human resources part. Even if it's just myself wearing different hats, it's like I have my inner team who does the different things. I'm focusing on operation, financial aspect, self-management, how I deal with myself in all this environment. I put what systems are working that I put in place. Do I need something else? The strategy long term. How do I communicate? So there are so many things that I'm working on in my business at this moment. So you need to pay attention to this as an introvert, because you can bring to each of them your own strengths. So you can think about which of my strengths are good for each of these aspects of the business wheel and how I can make them work for me. And those that don't, either, as I said, maybe you can get someone to help you, someone who want to get some experience if you don't have money to pay someone. There are websites where you can request to have a student to help you, who is working on a program that is related to the project you're working on or the aspect of the business you're working on. On the self-management part, that self-management, how you manage yourself, it's affecting all the different aspects of the business. And on the self-management part, I'm talking about the environment you're in, you immerse yourself in, the mindset, what you think. If you pay attention to it, there are so many things you can work on that side. That's why you hear often about successful mindset. People who are successful, they have or they build a successful mindset. You need to pay attention, especially as an introverted entrepreneur, pay attention to your work-life balance, to your holistic health, not only physical health, mental health, spiritual health. What helped me bounce back from the burnout was when I started writing that book. I started sitting a lot in front of the computer, but I was doing exercises with my legs, stretching to kind of improve my physical part, which improved my mental health. And the fact that I was working on a project that I was inspired to do, which I consider the spiritual part, everything came together. So I rebuilt my holistic health. And by the end of writing that book and publishing it, I came out of the burnout much faster than any other people I talked to, which they said you come back about 2-3 years from a burnout, and I came back in 10 months. So pay very much attention, as I said, about how you manage your energy, because if it drops to a certain level when the body, even if you sleep, I was sleeping 12 hours daily plus weekends, even if you think you do enough, if the body is out of balance, it goes into worse and worse and worse. So you need to act from the other aspects, from the mental and from the spiritual part, to bring everything back. So why I'm sharing this is introverts have a tendency to go into burnout, especially if you go into the business. And if this is your own source of income, if you're out of bringing income for a few months, not talking 2-3 years, what's happening with your business? You're not there to build your business. So it's affecting not only your personal, but also the business. The hobbies bring your energy. So just because you start a business based on what you love, doesn't mean that you can have another hobby to kind of balance you. Because when you're working on something that you love, you put a lot of energy in that one, and you still need something else to motivate you, to uplift your energy. So those are the hobbies. The relationships you have, pay attention to which one are giving you energy, which one are weakening yourself. Spend less time if there are still important people in your life. Spend less quality time with them and more quality time with those who can help you on that path. personal development, as I said, this journey is a self-discovery and self-growth journey. So if you don't know the next skills that you need in business, you might block your business, even if you think you're doing the right thing. So you continue to learn new skills, new strategy, new systems to put in place. So it's you as the person who is in the business. And also what I noticed something, you're not your business. You're a human being who takes on a role to build a business. Detach yourself from that business. At this point, I have a few more slides and I'm asking, are you okay to go over 1 hour?
How long do you need extra?
So we have not too much long. So not as much as
Yeah.
so far. So let's say 5-10 minutes more.
Yeah, if we could go maybe about 5 after. So we have another presentation at 12:15 that starts. So we just have to,
So
yeah,
let me do
okay,
it
go
now.
ahead.
So the idea is everything you do on your own self-management wheel is affecting every aspect of your business. You need to keep that in mind. And there is another wheel that is related to the business is called the flywheel, which helps the business grow. So if you have that operational wheel, business wheel as a snapshot of where you are right now, if you want to grow the business, you need to put like a flywheel in, how do you say it? To work, to roll out, to build a business. To give you an example from Amazon, their flywheel is they want to lower prices to more offerings. Lowering more prices will bring more clients to the website and more will buy. Because they do that, they can attract more third-party vendors. Because they have that, they can expand the store with more products and expand the distribution. And because of that, they can create gross revenues with the same fixed costs they have. Because they can give upsells and cross-sells that you can do in the business as well. So it's not only on the different aspects of the business, the different sections, areas, it's also think about what kind of strategy, flywheel you can put in motion in your business to continue to build a business, to help you even when you're not there. So the big picture is, as I said, you're not your business. If you look at that building, let's say that's the company, you as an entrepreneur, the person who started the business, who's working on the business, you are just taking on a role. You're the big person, the entrepreneur. You have the clients you work with. It's not just the business. What kind of clients you work with? Are they introverts? Are they extroverts? Because they might respond to different type of marketing strategies. Are they both? Do you target your marketing strategy in a way to attract both? All those things that I said about the different aspects of the business, there are things that you can look into and try to work on and get help. Or, as I said, not only money solve this, because you might implement some systems that helps you to do things better without hiring more people. For example, for introverts, I found very useful to build your own email list and to send newsletters from time to time, because that's how you remind people you're still in business. And you might share a few things that are going on, new offers, new testimonials. So you build that credibility and trust. So when they are ready or they know someone who might need what you want, you're in their mind. You don't have to rely too much on spending money on advertising and spending tons of hours to put out content on social media all the time. As long as you're consistent and in the background you're using in-person and online strategies like building your networking, your list for the newsletter, there are things that will help your business grow without you doing everything. You kind of put those systems to work too. Yes, about the flywheel concept, there are 2 books about it. One exactly with the title. The other one is Bezos letters. He's talking, Bezos is the founder of Amazon. He's talking about letters he sent to the stakeholders. And in those letters, he's talking about strategies that work very well for them, and you can learn a lot. And that's where I learned about the flywheel concept. So there are 2 big books. Even if you search about it, there are websites and articles and all that stuff. So That's about working on the business. When you dissociate yourself, you work on the business, not in the business. A few entrepreneurship pitfalls. Perfectionism doesn't help you because progress is much better than perfection in business. The perfectionism, if you wait until everything is perfect, perfect website, perfect product, perfect marketing, you're just blocking yourself to be out there and raise awareness, build momentum. Another thing is all those negative thoughts, I can't do this, I don't know this, turn them around. Ask yourself, how can I? Get curious. And when you turn around, your mind will help you, or you find information, or you can ask people. So I want to help other people. For introverts, yes, we want to help people, and we're kind of shy of asking the price for the products that you want. You're helping them anyway. And the value they associate with a higher price ticket is much higher, and they might be more inclined to buy that one than something cheap that usually is associated with no value, no quality. So work on your own beliefs. I don't like selling. You don't have to sell. When you start increasing your visibility and you put systems in place and you create partnerships, people will come to you. Right opportunities will come to you. You can still do the type of selling, but use your introvert strengths to kind of do that selling part. So you're comfortable when you're talking to someone, not just use extrovert strategies. Work on time versus energy. Manage your energy, not only your time. I don't know, it's something else that's blocking your energy. Pay attention to recharge enough, because if not, it's affecting your business. I don't deserve this. A lot of introverts go into this because I see a lot of successful people and they think they don't deserve the success. That's because you're comparing with something that's external to you. You don't have to think about that. Think about the impact that you want to make and how you can get there. And the success will come along the way, not because you deserve it, but because you made the impact that you want. A lot of introverts are people-pleasing. Be aware that this is not helpful in business. A fear of being judged or rejected is not about what they say. Whatever they say is their opinion. You know your stuff, you know your products and the business that you want to build. Just move on, don't listen to anyone. I can do it. I had this attitude for the good part of my business journey. I can do it. I have a lot of skills. I'm coming from engineering and IT and quality assurance and MBA and all the stuff. I know a lot of stuff. I can do it. Until I realized that I don't live in a vacuum. So when I start building those relationships and trying to go out using social media just to post from time to time, my business start growing at a much better pace. Afraid to reach out, ask for help. It's very important to ask for help, to reach out. Just reach out, genuinely ask a question, or ask how can we help each other, or whatever. You go from a win-win collaboration perspective. As I said, introverts are not interested usually in personal branding. It's not about personal branding, actually. It's about how many people know you, and especially your business and your products and services. Because they don't know you, you could have the best product out there and no one will come by it. A few things you need to leverage the things that are important to you. For example, one-on-one conversation, you're very good at it. Social media is nonverbal communication and online communication in general. You can become very good at it. Don't be afraid to be out there. I can't tell you how many times I changed my strategies, but it doesn't matter. I learned a lot in the process. You're good in small groups, up to 4 people. Something that I found very interesting, we're very good in a leadership position. If I'm doing a workshop, I feel much comfortable than when I sit there and I watch a presentation or a workshop. So you can go into that side. You have certain knowledge when you come into the business. Do workshops and presentations about that so people get to know, they connect with you. They love to connect with a story of the founder as well. So be out there, talk about whatever you're passionate about, what they can learn from the topic you're interested in. as I said, networking events, they are too broad, they are draining our energy, they are not a good way of using our time and energy, in my opinion. Festina lente. If you know the turquoise and Harry the rabbit, that's the difference between extroverts in business and introverts in business. A slow and steady pace will take you there, and you have the energy and the skills to get to wherever you want. To show you, for example, for Introverts Academy, I have some recurring events on Introverts Academy Eventbrite, and people see them there. I don't promote them much because I don't have time, but I still get people to those events because I put them there. That's a system in place. And I also use custom questions when they register, they answer questions. So I get to know the challenges, things I can create more products or books or content that I can share on social media or get testimonials. So there are systems that you can put in place to help you leverage better. Last thing, everyone is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it's stupid. So if you compare yourself with others, with what extroverts do, extrovert strategies, you might not go ahead. Just compare yourself with where you were, let's say, a week ago, a year ago, 3 years ago. And if it's a progress, just keep moving on. So that's my whole presentation. Sorry that I didn't have the chance for questions and answers. And if you want to share how comfortable are you right now, from 1 to 10 would be great. Or send me a message if you want at Introverts Academy, Gabriela at introvertsacademy.org, if you find it useful, if you want something else. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Gabriela. This is really great. I really appreciate you coming in and, attending and presenting for us. And we'd welcome you back for our other presentations. So thank you so much. Thank you everybody for joining us today. I appreciate having you here. And we'll talk to you all next time. Sorry to be a rush. We have another webinar starting right after this. Sorry. Thanks, everybody.
Okay, thank you so much.